Jason Brooks was a young American engineer who worked with a tech recovery team in Nevada. He was smart, curious, and liked machines more than people. One afternoon, something strange happened. A loud sound shook the desert. People thought it was an earthquake, but it was not. It was a spaceship. The spaceship had crashed in the middle of the desert. It was not like anything Jason had ever seen. It was shiny, round, and glowing with blue lights. The government quickly closed off the area and sent special teams to check it. Jason's team was called to help understand the strange tech. Jason walked carefully around the ship. He wore a protective suit and held a scanner in his hand. As he walked near the front part of the ship, his scanner started beeping fast. He noticed a strange panel with a circle and some symbols. Curious, he touched it gently. Suddenly, the panel lit up. A soft hum came from the ship, and a beam of light shot into the sky. Jason stepped back, shocked. He did not know that this panel was a royal beacon. On the alien homeworld, this beacon was only used by those asking for help or making a royal request. Far away in space, the signal reached a powerful alien empire called the Saren Dominion. Their Princess Leora saw the signal. It was a royal call, but the strange thing was, the signal matched the code for a marriage request. According to Saren law, anyone who sent this beacon had asked for the hand of a royal. Princess Leora was young and brave. She had trained in war and peace, but she had never seen a proposal like this. Her people took traditions very seriously. Even if the request was a mistake, it could not be ignored. She had to answer. A few hours later, a bright light filled the desert sky. A second, larger spaceship landed near the crash. It opened slowly, and tall figures in silver armor walked out. At the center stood Princess Leora. Her skin was smooth and pale blue, and her eyes glowed like stars. She wore a long robe with golden lines. Jason stared at her, unsure what to say. Before he could speak, the alien guards walked toward him. They asked his name and scanned his face. Then they looked at Leora. She gave a small nod. "This is the one," she said. Jason was confused. "The one? What do you mean? You have called me? You have made the request?" "I accept," she said with a calm voice. "Wait, what? Request?" "I didn't call anyone," Jason said, still confused. The guards moved closer. One of them handed him a golden band. Jason looked at it and laughed nervously. "I think there's a mistake," he said. But no one laughed with him. Laura stepped forward. "You have sent the beacon. In our law, this means a proposal. I will not insult your honor by rejecting it. You will come with us now." Jason wanted to protest, but something in her voice stopped him. She was not angry. She looked curious, and something about her made him feel like this was bigger than him. The humans watched as Jason was gently taken to the ship. He turned back once and gave a confused look to his team. Then the ship closed, and they left the Earth sky. Inside the ship, Jason sat in a soft chair. Leora sat across from him. "You do not look like a man who wants a royal bride," she said. Jason sighed. "I was just trying to do my job." Leora smiled for the first time. "Then let us see what the stars have planned for you, Earthman." Duh. And with that, their strange journey began. Jason Brooks woke up in a quiet room. The walls were smooth and bright, and the air smelled fresh. He was still on the alien ship. His head felt full from everything that had happened. A day ago, he was a normal engineer. Now he was sitting in a royal ship, linked to an alien princess by mistake. A soft chime rang, and the door opened. Leora stood there, dressed in a silver robe. She looked calm but serious. "Good morning, Jason," she said. "Did you rest well?" "I think so," Jason replied, still trying to believe this is real. She gave a small nod. "We are close to my home planet now. I want to show you how things work in the Saren Empire. Maybe it will help you understand." Jason followed her through long halls. The ship felt more like a floating city. They passed rooms filled with art, gardens under glass domes, and quiet study rooms. Sarens bowed when Leora walked by, showing deep respect. "They all listen to you," Jason said. "Yes, but they also expect me to follow our old ways," she answered. "Our people do not choose their partners. Everything is arranged." "That sounds like a cage," Jason said. Leora looked at him with interest. "To us, it is duty. but your words make me think. In one of the rooms, a group of Saren leaders waited. They sat at a round table. Jason was introduced as the Earth representative and royal chosen. The room grew quiet. Leora spoke first. This was a mistake, but we must treat him with honor. An older man stood. Princess, the Droth Syndicate is already sending warnings. They say Earth is planning to steal our throne. Jason stood up. I don't want power. I just want to clear this up and go home. The leaders whispered among themselves. Then one said, if you wish to avoid war, we must show the Droth that Earth and Saren stand together. Later, Leora walked with Jason in the garden dome. He looked at her. They want us to act like we're really engaged. Yes, she said. If we act united, the Droth may back away. But isn't that lying? Leora stopped walking. No, not if we try to understand each other. Not if we grow together. Jason looked up at the stars. Earth people believe in love. In choosing someone because of feelings, not pressure. Leora sat on a bench. I have never had the chance to choose, not even once. That night, Leora invited Jason to a formal dinner with her family. The royal hall was filled with lights, music, and strange foods. Her father, the Emperor, was tall and quiet. He looked at Jason for a long time before speaking. Are you a man of peace, Jason Brooks? Yes, sir. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. The Emperor nodded and stayed close to Leora. We are entering dark times. Later, Jason sat on the balcony alone. Leora joined him. She handed him a cup of warm drink made from a fruit that grew on her planet. You handled my father well, she said. Jason smiled. He scares me. She laughed. He scares everyone. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang. Red lights flashed in the sky. A guard rushed in. Princess, the Droth Syndicate, just entered our outer space. Jason stood up. They're really coming. Leora looked out at the stars. We must be careful now. They will try to use you against us. Why? I'm just one man. Because you are now part of Saren honor, she said. And Saren honor is everything. Jason felt a mix of fear and duty. He never asked for this, but now he was part of something bigger. Something that could change two worlds. As the stars shifted outside the window, Jason made a silent promise. He would not run away. Not yet. He would try to help. And maybe, just maybe, he would find a real reason to stay. The stars above were quiet, but trouble was moving closer. Jason stood on the deck of the Saren ship with Leora. The Droth Syndicate had entered Saren space, and everyone on the ship was on high alert. Soldiers moved quickly, guards stood ready, and whispers of fear passed from room to room. Leora walked beside Jason with her head high. She was calm, but he could see worry in her eyes. We need to leave the ship, she said quietly. You are a target now. Jason nodded. Where can we go? There is a moon between Saren and Earth space. It is peaceful and not under Droth control. We will be safe there for now. A small ship was prepared. Jason, Leora, and 2 guards entered it and took off. The journey was short, but it felt long. Jason looked out the window. He had never felt so far from home. They landed on the moon in the dark of night. The place was quiet, with soft hills and glowing plants. A small shelter had already been built by Saren scouts. Inside there were beds, food, and clean water.
Ow.
That night, Jason sat by a clear window, looking at the stars. Leora joined him. I'm sorry your life changed because of us, she said. It's not your fault, Jason replied. I touched something without knowing. I guess that started all of this. Our rules are old, she said, but your words, your ways, they make me think. Maybe we need change. The next few days were peaceful. Leora showed Jason how to use Saren tools, how their people farmed without harming the land, and how they stored light as energy. Jason shared Earth stories, old songs, and simple games. One evening, they sat by a small fire. Leora asked, do all humans marry by choice? Mostly yes, Jason said. Some families still try to control it, but most people choose who they love. If they make a mistake, she asked, then they learn and grow. That's part of life. She looked down. I never had the chance to make any choice. Everything was always planned for me. Jason reached for a stick and drew shapes in the dirt. You could choose now. You're far from the palace. You're not a princess here. Leora smiled. Not a princess, just a girl on a quiet moon. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the calm. One of the guards rushed in. We've been found. Droth's ships are coming. Leora stood up at once. Get the ship ready. We must leave. Jason looked at her. We'll never outrun them, will we? No, she said. But we can hide deeper in the caves. There are tunnels. The Droth will not find us quickly. They grabbed supplies and moved fast. The glowing plants lit the way as they entered the caves. Inside, the air was cool and the ground soft. Jason helped Leora climb down sharp rocks. Are you scared? She asked. Yes, he answered honestly. But I trust you. They reached a deep spot where the walls were wide and smooth. They stopped to rest. Jason leaned against the wall and closed his eyes for a moment. Why are the Droth doing this? He asked. They want power, Leora said. And if they stop our bond, they can claim Saren is weak. Jason looked at her. But this bond was a mistake. Yes, she said. But now it's more. You speak to me with honesty. You treat me like a person, not a title. That means more than rules. Jason smiled. We were meant to meet, even if by accident. Outside, the Droth searched the moon, but they didn't find the cave. For now, Leora and Jason were safe, sat close, quiet, and thoughtful. In the stillness, something had changed. The bond that began by mistake was growing real, and neither of them wanted to run from it anymore. Leora and Jason stayed hidden in the cave for 2 more days. The Droth kept looking for them, but the caves were deep and hard to search. The guards stayed alert, watching the surface with small scanners. On the 3rd morning, a message came from a secret Saren ship hiding behind the moon. The message said it was safe to return to Saren Prime. Leora knew they could not run forever. It was time to face her people. They left the moon and traveled quietly through space. Jason looked out at the stars. He had never thought he would be in the middle of a space conflict. Now, he was going back to a royal planet, not as a visitor, but as someone who had changed a princess's life. When they landed on Saren Prime, the people were waiting. News had spread of the Droth attack. But many young Sarens were more interested in Leora and her human guest. Some had seen secret videos. Others had heard about Jason's words and how he spoke of freedom and love. Leora walked through the palace halls with her head high. Jason followed beside her. This time, he didn't feel like a stranger. He felt like someone who mattered. Leora called a meeting of the council. It was rare for a princess to speak alone before the elders, but she had earned their respect. Jason stood behind her as she spoke. Our rules are old, she said. And sometimes, old rules must change. I was chosen by accident, but I stayed by choice. This man did not ask for power. He asked for respect. Gave me something no law ever did. Choice. The council members looked at one another. Some were angry, others were silent. Jason stepped forward. I come from a world where people argue, fight, and even make mistakes. But we also forgive, learn, and love. We believe in choosing who we stand with. It's not because of duty, but because of feeling. An elder stood up. And you ask us to throw away all our ways for your ideas? No, Jason said. I ask you to listen. Maybe your world is ready for both honor and choice. For a moment, the room was quiet. Then a young councilwoman stood. He is right. Our people are speaking. They want change. I have seen it in the streets. Leora took a deep breath. Then let us begin that change. Let the people choose, not just rulers, but partners too. Just as the council began to speak again, a loud sound shook the palace. Guards rushed in. The Droth are attacking, one shouted. They are landing in the city. Leora grabbed a comlink. Call the defense units. Jason, come with me. They ran to the command center. On the screens, Droth ships filled the skies. Saren guards were trying to hold the line, but they were outnumbered. Jason watched closely. Shh, their formation is tight. We need to break their center. Leora looked at him. You have ideas? Yes. On Earth we use false signals to confuse enemies. Let me try. He sat at a control panel and began working. He sent false data to the Droth ships, making them think Saren ships were behind them. The Droth broke formation to check. That gave Saren fighters a chance. They moved in and hit the Droth hard. The battle turned quickly. When the dust cleared, the Droth were fleeing. The city cheered. Leora looked at Jason with pride. "You saved us," she said. "No," Jason replied. "We saved each other." The next day, the council passed a new law. From now on, Sarens could choose their own partners. The old ways would not be forced anymore. Jason stood beside Leora as the people celebrated. Music filled the streets. Lights danced across the sky. A reporter asked Jason, "Do you plan to stay in Saren space?" Jason looked at Leora. She smiled. "Yes," he said. "There's still more to learn, more to build." As the stars above shined bright, Jason and Leora walked side by side. The future was unknown, but they were ready to face it together. The celebration on Saren Prime lasted for many days. People danced in the streets, music played in every corner, and lights covered the sky. For the first time in their history, the Saren people had a choice. They could choose who to love. They could choose their own path. Jason stood beside Leora on the palace balcony. Below them, thousands of Sarens cheered. Children waved flags. Couples held hands without fear. Leora looked at Jason. "Do you see this? This is not just about us. It's about everyone." Jason nodded. "You gave them hope. You gave them something new." She smiled. "We gave it together." Later that evening, Jason walked through the garden. He thought about his life before all this. He had lived a simple life on Earth. He worked with machines and followed orders. Now, he was part of a world so different, yet so full of life. A young Saren boy ran up to him. "Are you the Earthman who changed the law?" Jason laughed. "I just told the truth, that's all." The boy smiled. "My sister is marrying someone she loves now. She says thank you." Jason watched him run off. His heart felt full. He had never expected to make such a difference. Inside the palace, Leora met with her father, the Emperor. The old man looked at her with quiet pride. "You have done something I could not," he said. "You listened to the people. You gave them freedom." Leora bowed her head. "I only followed what I believed was right." The Emperor stood and placed a small crystal in her hand. "Then it is time you take the next step. Rule this world not with power, but with heart." Leora accepted the crystal. It was a sign of the future crown. Jason joined her later. "You're going to be queen, aren't you?" She nodded. "Yes, but not alone. I want you by my side." Jason was quiet for a moment. "Are you asking me to stay here forever?" "Only if you want to," she said. "Not as a prince, not as a hero, just as yourself." He looked into her eyes. "I came here by mistake, but now I choose to stay. Not because I have to, because I want to." Word spread across Saren and Earth. A human had helped change an alien world. People from both sides started talking more. Ships moved between the stars with peace missions. Trade began. Ideas were shared. Jason started working with Saren engineers. He helped design tools that mixed Earth science with Saren energy. He also helped train young leaders in both cultures. Leora ruled with care. She listened to her people. She held open talks. She walked in markets and talked to farmers. The people loved her not just as a leader, but as one of them. One quiet night, Jason and Leora sat alone in the same garden where they had once spoken of freedom. "Do you remember when we met?" she asked. "How could I forget? You thought I was trying to marry you." She laughed. "You looked like you wanted to run away." Jason smiled. "I almost did. But now I'm glad I stayed." She reached for his hand. "I dare. I never believed in choice before. Now I do." They sat together, watching the stars. The sky was wide open and full of light. In the distance, a new academy was being built. It would be a place where humans and Sarens could learn together, a place of peace and knowledge. Jason and Leora's story became more than a strange accident. It became a symbol, a story told to children, a reminder that even mistakes can lead to something good. And though they had started on different worlds, they now walked one path, side by side, writing a new future together.